right now. You're in the midst of this moment where the veil is thin and your prayers are heard in a deeper way. Push that out like a boat into the waters of the other world and see what ripples back to you. Hello and welcome back to Remember Why You're Here, a podcast for seekers and sensitives where you can relax, receive, reconnect to yourself, and remember the most important thing of all, why you're here. I'm Asia Suler, author, earth intuitive, teacher, and in this episode today, we're going to be talking about how embracing the other world is how we heal. We are in the midst of this season of the other world, this season when the veil is thin and it's possible to touch this place that in the Celtic understanding was called the other world, this place of the ancestors, this place of unseen energies, this place of consciousness and sentience. And right now, in particular, we are right on the tip of Samhain. We are entering into what I consider the whole season of Samhain, but specifically the day of Samhain itself, starting at sundown on the 31st into the 1st of November. This is a very, very potent ritual day of the year, an incredibly potent moment in time to be able to connect into the ancestors and the other world. And before we launch into this podcast, which I hope will really help you embrace the potent energies that are up and swirling in the air today, I want to say that I've been loving welcoming some of you into my class, Herbs for the Otherworld. This class is one of the most beloved things I've ever created, and being able to witness people step into this class and make these really potent connections with the other world during this powerful time of the year is just one of my absolute favorite things. In the class, we talk about herbs and fungi that are specific for helping us work with the other world to open our perception of the other world. But we also dive deep into the other world, how to interact with this place, opening and connecting to our own individual guides in the other world, and exploring our unique connection with the unseen world. We have had incredible things happen inside this course. I have people tell me that they take it again and again every year. It's really inexpensive, and once you sign up for it, you have it forever. And so I've heard people revisit this every single Samhain. I absolutely adore hearing this, and someone who did this left a review, and I just had to read it. I love the course. I've always thought of myself as a witch, and this course helped me a lot. I knew about the thinning of the veil for the first time from Asia, and it resonated with me. I did the meditation on Samhain Eve, and I woke up a whole new person. So I just wanted to say, as we are like walking into that specific moment in time right now, that if this is calling to you, definitely check that out over at asiasuler.com, Herbs for the Otherworld. I think it will add so much to your life, to your celebrations this season, to the ways in which you're connecting in. Okay, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about this moment in time that we're in and why this time is such a potent portal into the other world, and why connecting to the other world is how we heal. So we are just a few days away from Samhain. Samhain is the Celtic holiday that is associated with this time of the year. Samhain became All Souls Day at some point, and from there became Halloween. And there's a reason why we all love Halloween so much. It is a holdover from these pagan celebrations of the thinning of the veil, of this time where the other world is visible, where it's possible to connect into ancestors. Traditionally, this was thought to be the beginning of a new year, which I really love about the Celtic concept of time, that new beginnings start in the darkness, start at the end. So this is sometimes called the Witch's New Year. So I often celebrate this as a new year, as well as celebrating a new year in January. To me, this is sort of the beginning of a new spiritual year in my life. This is the time of a descent into the winter. It's when in the Celtic understanding, winter would have began. It's also a holiday of honoring the ancestors. This has become a really big part of a contemporary way in which we celebrate Samhain. It's also recognized in other cultures around the world, like the Day of the Dead celebration in Mexico. So this is very much a time where it's recognized cross-culturally that it's just easier to talk to the ancestors, to commune with the other side. This is also a time in which harvests would have been ending, and often, if anything was left out in the field after the end of October, after Samhain, that was all for the spirits. That was all for the ancestors after this point. I really love that tradition, and I love thinking about this idea of new beginnings starting in the darkness, and that there's this possibility to connect into unseen energies during this time. And there's a reason why there's such a tradition of getting dressed up as ghosts and goblins and ghouls, and that this aspect of Halloween that we love so much, that is so beloved, is really tuning us into the deeper reality of the energies that are available to us during this time. So Samhain is a time of connecting into the other world. What is the other world? You've probably heard me talk about this before. If you've been listening to this podcast, the other world is a term I love, and it's a place that all of us are connected to and familiar with. So let's talk about what I mean when I say the other world. So the other world has been called many things throughout time. You could call this the spiritual reality, the hidden reality, the unseen world. In the Celtic understanding, the other world is a very real realm of reality that exists here on our planet and exists in parallel to physical reality or the seen world. So in this way, the other world and the Celtic way of being and understanding is not off planet, it's here on Earth. Literally just right on the other side of this veil. Some tenets of the other world to understand the other world, this is a place where the dead live. It's where the ancestors are, other supernatural or unseen beings like fairies, pixies, elves, the hidden folk. In this place of the other world, time moves differently. So even though it's existing alongside us right here, that we have moments where we pierce the veil and we feel it, that time is much more nonlinear in the other world. That time is expanding and contracting at will. And we can kind of feel that when we tap into otherworldly states where maybe we're deep in an ecstatic state or a ritual, and it feels as if time itself changes. That's a moment in which we're touching the other world. One of the core tenets of the other world is that everything is animated and governed by consciousness. This is a core tenet of our world at large. And yet when it comes to the other world, that's very clear and very obvious. So here in sort of physical scene reality, this too is created by consciousness. It's a collective co-creation where all of us and our souls and our consciousness are creating this world together. Well, in the unseen world, in the other world, that is, everyone is aware of that. It is at the heart of reality. It is what is primary. So there's not the same kind of forgetfulness of existing in this state where we don't remember that we're consciously creating the world. In the other world, this is very obvious. It's a governing rule of existence. And it really reminds me of, this idea of like the unconscious, and that the other world is very connected with what we call the unconscious. And that this is really like the vast bedrock of reality, that what is unconscious, what is unseen, is actually such a bigger part of our reality than what is seen. Like the statistic that 85% of the universe is dark matter. This is the other world. Or the statistic that 80 to 95% of what we know is unconscious. So when we connect into the other world, we're connecting into all of that, this vast reservoir of consciousness, of what exists in the unconscious, of the mystery of the realm of the ancestors. This is the place where the blueprints are stored. So if all of reality is created by consciousness, and in the other world, this is very clear, and the other world is less physical and more a realm of consciousness, then in this other world are stored all the blueprints of what is possible for us here on this planet and in our lives. And so there's this way in which, while the other world is a place, it's also a state of being because it exists within all of us. It's the empty space at the center of an atom. It is the bulk of the iceberg underneath the surface. And so in this time of the season of Samhain and this time where the other world draws closer, we have this ability to connect into the other world within us, this state of being that helps us connect to the unseen world. So why connect to the unseen world? Why connect to the other world? Maybe while I'm talking, you're like, well, Asia, why would I not want to connect to that? But I think it's important to just remember that when we connect to the unseen world, we're connecting back into this reality, this remembrance that consciousness creates reality, that we are creators. We are remembering that all things rise from consciousness, from spirit. And it really reminds us of what is possible. Connecting into the other world reminds us what is possible. And this is why I believe that all healing lives in the other world, or embracing the other world is how we heal. Healing happens on all levels, spiritual, emotional, physical, and yet in the deepest part of our beings, all healing is arising from this place of consciousness, from this place of spirit and soul as co-creators in this reality. When we connect into the other world, what we're connecting into is our power as creators, is our remembrances of being spiritual beings on a human journey. And so when we connect to the other world, it helps us literally see the unseen. This is so big in healing, especially when we get stuck in patterns of thinking there's no way this can shift. There's no way this can heal. Those belief systems are often what's preventing us from seeing the kind of healing that is possible for us. And so when we are literally able to see the unseen, connect to the other world, see that there's so much energy and vividness and life that's going on beyond what we see, we open the portal of our awareness to see what is unseen in our own perception, to see possibilities where we couldn't perceive them before. Connecting to the other world reminds us what is possible, and it is a place where we can receive some of the most direct, helpful, and primary guidance. The other world is a place where the ancestors dwell. It's a place where earth deities dwell. It's where the beings in the unseen dwell, land spirits, fairies, elves. So as human beings on a human journey, on earth, connecting to the other world connects us with energies that are also here on earth, that are here to help us, here to guide us, here to protect us. And sometimes I see folks walking into this space or being curious about connecting to the other world and having fear around, what is there, what energies are there, especially as we so often categorize this time of Samhain as the time of like ghosts and goblins and ghouls. And I want to say that it's the same as just the seen world in humanity where, there's stuff that's up that's not great. There's people you probably don't want to interact with that, is not going to be in alignment for you to be having deep connection with or asking for guidance with. But at the same time, that's a very small percentage of what we're talking about with the energies that exist here on this planet and in the other world. That the vast experience of the other world, that the bedrock of this reality is benevolence, is love, is kindness, and your intention is extremely powerful. So in a moment, I'm going to talk about how to connect to the other world, but I want you to know that you are powerful. You are a powerful creator. And so your intention of who you want to connect to, what types of energy you want to connect to is incredibly important. This will set the stage for what you do experience, for what you do receive, to call in beings of light, beings of unconditional love, those who love you beyond all reason, those who are here to help you in your own soul's unfolding. You can specify that it be gentle. You can specify that it be kind. You can specify that it be generous and understandable. All of this is within your power to specify. And the more you get clear on your intention here, the more easeful it will be, because the safer you will feel to connect into these energies. So let's talk about how to connect to the other world. Well, the first thing I want to say here is that the other world is already reaching out to you. This is not some sort of box that you have to figure out how to unlock. It's not a puzzle. The other world is already reaching out to you. You might notice that your dreams have been deepening as you've been going through the month of October towards Samhain. You might be having more signs, more synchronicities. This is often a time of the year where people who have passed will reach onto us through signs and synchronicities or through our dreams. You might be noticing that you're having more intuitions, more messages, more alignments in your life. These are all ways in which the other world is speaking to you. So the other world is already coming to you. It is already speaking to you. And the cool thing about this time of the year is you can actually really just harness the power of this time. The veil is naturally thin. So at all times of the year, our guides in the other world, these energies of benevolence in the other world, are wanting to connect with us, wanting to help us, wanting to be in communication and co-creation with us, because the world is a richer place when we are in communication and connection with them. But during this time, this specific time when the veil between the worlds is thin, it's just easier to make that connection. So to really take advantage of this moment in time, take advantage of the thinning of the veil, of the mysticism that's available here. I specifically will encourage you here to ask to connect to a guide in the other world using everything that I said about intention, and specify to meet a guide of benevolence and guiding light. To specify that you want to meet a guide in the other world who is truly connected to ultimate love and benevolence, who is here to help you in your soul's path and your soul's unfolding. And this is something that we do inside Herbs for the Other World. We have an extended journey where we go and visit and meet an otherworldly guide. But this is also something that you can do on your own. Set the intention, set a ritual space, move into a meditative space, maybe with a drumming track or a meditation track that you like. I often find it's very helpful to have a visual of your gateway, how you're entering into this space, whether it's a literal gate or it's a tree or it's a bridge. Whatever comes to you is wonderful, but to envision a gateway, put on that meditation track or listen to the meditation in Herbs for the Other World, and then see yourself moving through that gateway and specify that intention as you do to meet with your other world guide. I promise you there is a guide in the other world right now that really wants to work with you, wants to help you with whatever it is you're healing. And if there's something specific that you want to ask for healing around, let that be part of your intention too, to call in a guide of ultimate love and benevolence that is connected to the light that is at the heart of all that is, and ask that guide to be one who can specifically help you with whatever it is you're working on in your healing. It can really help to deepen this connection with the other world, to make an offering in the outside world, maybe make an offering of flowers or water or a song. There's also a very traditional practice this time of the year called a dumb supper, where on Samhain Eve, you set out an extra plate for the ancestors, or in this case, you could set out an extra plate for whatever guide you are calling to the table that you are asking to come be with you. This is a beautiful practice where you set out that plate, you have the food for your ancestor or your guide, and everyone sits in silence as they eat, really communing with the other side. After you're done with whatever is on that plate, you give that plate back to the earth rather than have anyone eat it, because on a spiritual level, it has already nourished the ancestors, or it has already nourished your guide. And this is a beautiful way of connecting in ritual on Samhain Eve to these energies that are here to guide you. And finally, I really encourage you to not only set an intention around meeting this guide, but to set an intention in general, planting it like a seed into the dark soil of this time. So circling back to this time of the year being one in which this is the beginning of a new cycle. So in the Celtic year, this is the beginning of the new year. And at the time when everything is dying and going back to the earth, we're about to go into the hibernation of winter. That Samhain itself begins in the darkness as the sun sets on October 31st. Really think about your intention for healing in this year ahead. What do you want to experience? What possibilities do you want to be opened for you? What what are you asking for? What are you longing for in life? To take time, especially on those really sacred, mystical, magical days around Samhain, to take time and write this intention down, get clear on this intention, this ask for healing. You could write it down and burn it. You could write it down and bury it. You could make a hole in the earth and speak that intention into the hole, having some sort of ritual where you are writing down this intention and then you are offering it. You're offering it to your guide in the other world. You're offering it to your loving, wise ancestors, and you're asking for help. This is one of those rules of existence that we need to ask. That help is always there for us, but we need to ask. And there's a moment right now. You're in the midst of this moment where the veil is thin and your prayers are heard in a deeper way and in a clearer way. So make that prayer, set that intention, really push that out like a boat into the waters of the other world and see what ripples back to you. And if it's calling to you to step into Herbs for the Other World, know that that course is here to support you in exactly this and exactly all of this. So as Juliet wrote in her review, after listening to the workshop, I felt more confident both to connect with the spiritual ancestors of the land I'm on and pay my respects, but also reconnect with the ones from my homeland. I've met some very supportive and loving ancestors who help me on my chosen path, and some powerful and joyful fairies who teach me how to grow and cleanse my world. I recommend this course to anyone who has an interest in their spirituality and discovering what else there is in this world. Because that's the thing, and that's what we're really tuning into and tapping into at this time, is that there's so much more to this world that we've been handed, that this is why this time of the year is legendarily beloved, because it's this mixing it up, this opening of possibilities, this connecting to the mystical energies that animate all things. It's like there's a reason why everybody is always yearning for fall and yearning for autumn and loving the energies of this time of Samhain or Halloween, because this is a time of possibility. This is a time of opening the portals of our imagination, our awareness, of making big spiritual leaps, and that these leaps are available to us. They are naturally here. They are meeting us where we're at, and all we have to do is be willing to open the door. All we have to do is be willing to connect with the other world and the healing energies that live there. So if you want to drop into this time and have guidance around the plants and fungi that can help you know practices of releasing ghosts and attachments and the stuff you don't want anymore, to connect to an otherworld guide on a really powerful journey, then I would love to see you in Herbs for the Otherworld. And whether or not you decide to take the class or it's an alignment for you this year, I would love to hear about what comes up for you this year, what kind of ritual you did, what was your experience? Who did you connect to? Because you have this ability. This ability is inherent to who you are, to connect to the other world. And just through listening to this episode today, you have already opened this gateway. So even if you take no other action, today, the other world is coming to meet you. Today, healing and possibility is streaming towards you. So may those energies nourish you in all the ways. May you be able to embrace the healing that is on offer for you in this specific time period and as we move into this whole season of Samhain. And may all these energies, all these openings, and all this potential continue to remind you of this thing that guides us and helps us and is always there for us in those moments in time when we're in the darkness and we need to remember our intentions for being alive. May it help you remember this most important and precious thing of all: why you're here.